Hey friends, welcome back to Chaos and Carry-Ons, the podcast where two best friends chat all things travel, mom life, and beautiful chaos in between. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Shelby. And today we're so excited because not only are we packing our imaginary suitcases again, we have a special guest joining us.
Yes, it's Adoption Awareness Month, which is really close to my heart because, as many of you know, I am an adoptive mom. And today we have someone amazing joining us who I met when I was on my adoption journey. But she's also a huge Disney fan, which we totally love.
So everybody welcome Nikki.
Hi guys, I'm Nikki Gonzalez, and I met Stephanie a few years ago after I adopted my first. I have two children, both through adoption. I have a wonderful husband named Noel, and he is from Cuba, and we just have one Disney-loving family.
So we can say that I met Nikki when I was staying in Houston, and the adoption agency was tired of me calling, and they just said, here's this girl's number, and I think she would talk to you. Why don't you talk to her about some questions that you have? Because I was like, I need a different hotel. I needed a place to buy baby clothes. I didn't have any baby clothes, and I think you were the one that told me to go to Bye Bye Baby. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. My youngest at the time was like 7 or 8, so I had Babies R Us had went out, and he needed preemie clothes, and I didn't know where to go. And so yeah, that's how I met Nikki. I had never met her before. I call this number, she answers, and I just start asking you all these questions, even though I didn't even know you. It was like, hi, hello, okay, now tell me what to do.
I was the perfect person for that. I love connecting people, and I've always enjoyed helping others. And yeah, it's a crazy journey, and just happened to be that we were in the same city. We adopted Mateo in Houston as well. So during COVID, which was crazy.
So
Yes.
we should also insert that both of you have a Mateo.
Yes.
Which is another wild thing. Yes. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. And so that, like you said, it was during COVID. That was a weird thing. And I think they were both born at the same hospital, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a lot of things that were similar about our adoptions at the time. And you had just went through it. So it was like fresh on your mind. So it was like really, really good to connect with somebody that literally had just went through the same thing. And so you were kind of telling me what to expect. We did an episode previously, we were talking about ICPC, and we're gonna let Nikki give some tips on that. But you were even telling me how long to expect. Like, I had no idea, and
Right.
that was really scary.
It was super scary. And I think during COVID, there were just so many extras that people never experienced before. So, because there were so many different hospital regulations, and doors were more closed than normal, and just, it was like a ghost town.
It was.
And it was right after a really bad hurricane. Oh my gosh, that was so scary. We drove from Atlanta to Texas, and it was wild because we stopped to get gas in a town that literally was a ghost town. It was like mostly shut down. And we were like, is this a bad dream?
I know. I know. That was also like something that was connecting us. I don't think I had told Shelby that, but so they went to Houston right after a hurricane, and then we were in Houston for an ice storm. So it was like our stories were so similar.
I didn't realize there were more than one Letson family chaos going on.
Yeah, It
Yes.
was crazy. So like I said, I just remember when I was calling the family coordinator, is I think what they call them. And all these things were going wrong. And she said, I know the perfect person for you to call and talk to. She has a very similar story. And when she started telling me all these things, I was like, yes, this is exactly where I am. So tell me what to do. So I'm sorry you had to experience it alone, but I was glad that you were there.
Well, yeah, it was fine. I think I had some outer support systems before too, so that helped me a lot. And
Wow.
a really good friend of mine worked for an different adoption agency, but just helped me through a lot of expectations. So that was huge.
Okay, so before we dive in too deep, we're going to start with our chaos check-in. And that's basically where we share the most chaotic or funny thing that's happened recently, or maybe not so recently. I don't know if you've listened to the Summer of Chit Chat, but we asked every guest to give us their... Shelby, how did we word that?
I was just trying to think how we worded the question, and I cannot remember.
It was like, give us your chaotic vacation memory that turned into a happy
Yes,
memory.
that was it. Yeah.
Well, I was trying to think through, like pre being married, I went on a trip to Pensacola with a friend, and probably like in my life was the most chaotic. And we were going because I worked for this nonprofit, and he was moving, and he wanted basically like I was his assistant. So like he wanted me, his wife was really sick, to like go get boxes for the company and bring them back to Georgia. It's like I was so young. But we got lost in Alabama, and I mean lost in Alabama. It took us 13 hours to get to Pensacola, and it's like a 5-6 hour trip. And it was the fun, like I remember like peeing my pants in the car, like literally peeing my pants in the car. And the girl that I was with was just like one of the most like hilarious people anyways. But I remember this was like before cell phones, okay? So maybe we had a cell phone, but it was like so much a minute, and probably even though it's Georgia, Alabama, it's probably like international calling, I don't know. But we get to this gas station and we walk in, and the girl's like, "You guys aren't from around here, are ya?" We were like, oh my gosh. And I remember it was just so crazy and so funny. And it was like all the crazy things just kept happening. Although it's like 20 something years ago, so I don't really remember all the things that happened, but I just remember it was like funny. But when I asked Noel, I was like, what do you think is like our most chaotic travel memory? He was like, for me, it was like bringing Mateo home from Texas, because we had to get him circumcised when we were there, because with ICPC, you don't know how long you're going to be there. And so we were having to pull over like every hour and a half to change his dressing. I feel like we talked about this, Stephanie, because oh my gosh, that was just crazy. But that wasn't a happy, fun memory. He'll never know it. We were like, just, you have to put him in a seatbelt. There's so many, like factors of that were just scary. But we were like, here we are, like I think I was like 39 and Noelle was like 41, but you would think we were like 17-year-old parents.
Well,
anyways,
I do think that is what's funny about adoption. And I tried to say that in the last episode, that people just picture like all of these like montage with this beautiful music and these like happy moments, but it's very chaotic, especially when you're in a place that you're not from. You have no idea where anything is. And so you feel so overwhelmed. Now, I'm not saying there's not happy moments, because there's a lot of moments in there that you're overwhelmingly happy, but there's a lot of moments in there where you're internally panicking and thinking, what do we do now? How do we do this? Because we're not at home and you're in a hotel trying to take care of this baby. It's just, especially during COVID, it was a very weird thing.
Right. And I would say, like, looking back on both of them, and I guess I would forget about Bella's, might have been the most chaotic, because her adoption was totally different than Mateo's. And we were in a different city. We were still in Texas, but we were in Dallas, a different hospital. And even though it was 2022, you still got a lot of those COVID rules in place. And it was just, they had to fly somebody in. That's how bad it was to be with me from the adoption agency, because it was something else.
Yeah.
And my parents came, thankfully, because we had Mateo and he was 2, but we had just gotten like a new used truck, and we took it because we packed so much stuff. And it like broke down in the middle of the highway in Texas. It is like, we hear this big bang and another big bang. And thankfully my dad was there with us. I mean, I don't know what we would have done. My dad took care of everything. He was like, let's go here. I'm going to pay for it. Like, we were a hot mess express, but yeah. Those are chaotic moments of
That
adoption.
sounds exactly like something that would happen to us.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. That's what I was going to say. Okay,
That's
so we're going
hilarious.
to talk travel. You're a Disney lover. What's your favorite park, ride, and must-do snack?
It's so hard. Um, I would say hands down, I love Magic
Mhm.
Kingdom. And but my favorite ride would probably be at Animal Kingdom. I for right now, it's Passage of Flight. And then I also love Soarin' at Epcot, so isn't that weird that both of them are not
Mhm.
at Magic Kingdom? I do love the Snow White. It's just not long enough. Come on. That's such a fun it should be like 3 times the time it is. So my favorite snack depends on what park I'm in, really. We always do popcorn as a family. We bring our popcorn buckets back and do the like, what is it, $2 or $3 refills, which is such a great thing. And then we give our kids their own bucket so nobody's fighting. And sometimes we might even bring a third for Noelle and I to share. And then we usually always get the pizza, cheeseburger, spring rolls at
Mhm.
Magic
Oh, those are
Kingdom.
so good.
They're so good. And then I always love the pineapple ones at Animal Kingdom if we go there too. But yeah, it depends on what park. I'm really curious to hear from you girls because we're gonna go at Christmas time and we haven't been at Christmas. I haven't been in like I don't think we've ever taken our kids at Christmas. I've got to watch all the videos on all the Christmas snacks.
Well, it's funny that you say that because we actually have a bonus episode that's coming out tomorrow. Well, so when this airs, it will
Really?
have already came out on the Christmas party. Are you going to the Christmas party?
We're not going to go to the Christmas party. This is like such a last minute. We were going to go after Christmas, but
Mhm.
still be there when it's decorated. And then things we realized probably made more sense to go around Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And so we have 2 park days planned, and then we're planning to do like we love to resort hop and go ride the horses at Circle D Ranch and that kind of stuff. So we're still figuring that out. Literally, as in we've just planned this trip a couple weeks ago.
Again, it sounds so familiar. Stephanie and I both are going. Steph's leaving Friday, actually.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
leaving the week of Thanksgiving, and neither one of us had these trips planned a month ago. Well, I don't know. Stephanie has been planning a little bit longer than I have, but mine wasn't
Mhm.
planned a month ago.
I just bought the tickets though like 2 weeks ago, and I still haven't bought my Animal Kingdom tickets yet,
I haven't either.
and I'm leaving on Friday.
that's awesome. We only know where we're staying for half of our trip, so I've got to get that figured out. So
Christmas
yeah,
time is magical, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm not like a lover of Christmas, but I love Christmas at Disney World. That is one thing that I will live and die by is that if you need Christmas spirit, go to Disney
It
World. There's just
really,
something about it.
it really, it's like you're in a Hallmark movie,
Yes.
but less,
it really
it's
is
a
now.
less sappy Hallmark movie.
Yes, absolutely. I would actually Mateo has been at Christmas now that I remember, and like even Disney Springs, I remember like they had a band and like drummers, and he loves like music and beats, and he was like 1.5, and he was like loving every second. And then there was like snowfall at Disney Springs. I remember,
Yeah.
but Noelle and I dated in Orlando because I went to grad school there, and it was something else. I mean, that's where we did all our dates. So, yeah, it's really special for us. I feel like it's so magical.
It
And I
is.
went with a bunch of girl cousins a few years ago, and that was so fun. And we did the Christmas party together. So fun.
If you could take a vacation without kids, no diapers, no strollers, no snack packs, where would you go if it was just you?
Just me, not my husband.
Yeah, just by yourself.
Oh, man. It's really hard. I've always wanted to go to Italy. So, probably I would just say Italy because it's like my dream.
Yes.
That's my
That's
dream
high on my
too.
list too.
I mean, I really would like to go there with my husband, but I've been to Scotland and it
Ooh.
hands down is my favorite place I've ever been. It's like so beautiful. So I could always go back there by myself as well.
Okay. This is a big one for parents listening. What's your best tip for doing Disney with little kids without losing your mind?
Snacks. I feel like snacks are always the key. even like just having lollipops. I know that sounds silly, but like, you're always like in line doing different little things and it gives them something tactical. I don't
Mhm.
know. I always pack like little crowns and things, and those just don't seem to do the anything. I would say bubbles too, like bubbles and lollipops. Those seem to keep my kids going because when they get bored, if they have the bubble wand, that really helps. And we just like bring our own solution and refill it. I think those are the two biggest things that we use, and it's a lot, I think sometimes. Disney is not I always say, Disney is magical, but it's not for the faint of heart,
Yeah.
you're not so you've gotta, yeah, be armed and prepared for all the
You have to
things.
be prepared, but you also have to be flexible. I think that's a misconception. You have to be able to roll with the punches. And if you don't have that personality, you're not going to love a Disney vacation.
That is absolutely true. Yep.
Yeah.
What's like around the corner if it starts raining or those kind of
Yeah.
things? Absolutely.
I was just going to say, what about packing? What's one thing you always pack for Disney, which I know you said bubbles and snacks, but do you have any other?
We always pack fans, like little
Mhm.
fans. That's another thing that probably keeps them busy. Like if they have something they can hold, I always make sure I have change of clothes, like for all of us, like pretty much if we go to the park, or at least for me and the kids. I feel like we're the messiest. I'm trying to think of, we're overpackers for sure. And we probably pack way too much. I mean, I would say we always make sure we have snacks, change of clothes, and I do like a few little like a zipper pouch full of like stickers and just randomness. I mean, Disney is great about like you don't have to bring life vests because they have them on property if you're staying at their place. There's so many things that we know we can do there. Like if we forget something, we can do a pickup order. Like, we're a matchy family. We wear matching shirts half the time and we do Mickey ears and Disney pins. I mean, we're all in.
I don't know if we've mentioned that, Shelby, before about we probably have ordering stuff to the room. I do that every
I
time
do
because I
too.
always forget things.
Yeah. Well, we fly a lot. And
Mm.
when you do that, you can't take, like, I like having bottled water, the little applesauce
Uh-huh.
pouches, and protein bars and stuff like that, which you can travel semi with that if you're flying, but not as easily. So, yeah, I always, always, always Instacart to the room.
We are always drive. I mean, it's like a 7-hour trip without any like stops for us, but we just always drive. And that really helps. And because I lived in Orlando, that also helps too. Like I know Orlando pretty well. And but there's a Target and a Walmart like right there. So it's just easy.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
we know where all the like we'll take our kids to Chick-fil-A. Like if we, it's like whatever's easy for your family and makes like Disney is adaptable. And when you talk about being flexible, like what my family needs is going to be different than what your family needs, right? And we always do Disney with friends because we have friends that live there. So that's an extra layer for us sometimes. So we really have to be flexible because it's not always about our family schedule.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we're going to pivot back since it's Adoption Awareness Month. And I wanted to touch on something a lot of people don't think about, which is travel during adoption. And we didn't really go over this in our last 2 episodes.
No, and that's a big part of most adoption stories. I know people that have went to Hawaii. I know people that I grew up with that actually went to China to adopt. And I always have been interested in the logistics of the traveling side of it.
Yeah, so even when we traveled, we didn't take our 2 kids. We left them here, but like Nikki was saying, she took her oldest, but he was only, 2 at the time?
yeah.
So would be some like good advice that you would have for a family that's preparing to travel for their adoption? Some people don't take anything at all, like I didn't, and
Mhm.
they just hit the Target drive up. How did you do it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm an over prepare, I would say. And again, I know people who kind of have done all different things as well. But again, I adopted Mateo during COVID. And then by the time we adopted Bella, we had a 2-year-old. So both of our trips, our car was packed to the rim. And I mean, I'm thinking, and you think about even your trip, like I've got to have access. Like I brought a bunch of formula with me, not even, you don't know what they're going to use, but I just wanted to make sure I had something if I couldn't find it. Some people bring bassinets or pack and plays. We brought a Like, I don't even think they sell them anymore, but like the boppy pillows, and we had a DockATot.
Hmm.
For us, those were like essential. We probably brought way too many bottles, but we didn't know what type of things, our kids were gonna like. And so I literally had like a bigger than a gallon size Ziploc. I don't know what they're called, but I think I bought it at the Dollar Tree. It's like a 2-pack, and it's like
Yeah,
these huge
I
bags,
know
and
what
I
you're
like
talking about. Yeah.
filled it with different types of bottles, passies, all the things. And do I need that? Probably not. But it helped me feel like I had options. And that's what I think I needed, was
Hmm.
in the middle of chaos and not knowing my surroundings, not knowing whatever. Like, I needed to know I had options. So diapers, wipes, like we brought them all. And again, we drove, and it was a long drive, but we had a lot of different things. I mean, we had different sizes of clothes because you don't know what size the baby's going to be.
Hmm.
So we had a lot, and you don't know how long you're going to be there. I think that's the hardest part, is that some people are there for a week and some people are there for a month.
Yeah.
So, you just don't know what to go with. Again, because we went so early on in COVID, I think we brought food and everything because we didn't know what was going to be open. A lot of things were closed while we were there.
Yeah.
DoorDash was awesome though. Like, I remember some friends of ours gave us DoorDash gift cards, and that was like essential. I'm trying to remember, like, I even think we brought like is it Dr. Brown's, like a steam cleaner for our
Yeah.
bottles. Like, we brought everything. Like, we probably looked crazy because we didn't know, like, how are we gonna be in a hotel room and clean a baby's bottles? I mean, I remember, like, we had a station set up in our hotel room to clean the bottles.
Yeah.
But I mean, we pretty much like lived in our pajamas when we were with Mateo, like waiting
Hmm.
out ICPC. It was a different time with both kids. When my parents were there with us with Bella Grace, it was different because obviously helped us. They didn't stay in the same hotel. They stay in the same hotel, but not in the same room. But we got a different type of hotel room. We got one with like a living room attached and everything.
Hmm.
So that made a huge difference too. Like, just having the room,
Yeah.
um, and then feeling like we had a little bit more of a kitchen and stuff. So that was nice.
Yeah. I
I'm trying to
remember
think.
you were the one that told me to move to a different type of hotel room where you had like the kitchen, a kind of a living room area. We stayed at like I think it was like a Sonesta S Suites. So it was like a suite. And I remember you saying it will change your mental health and how you feel right now. And it really was. Like you wouldn't think
Yeah.
just like having that extra space. We were feeling so cooped up is a good word.
Mhm. Right. Just to have a couch was like a big deal. I don't
Yeah.
know, like, and it was like a different area. Like, you're not in a bed the whole day long.
Yeah.
Like, it does make a difference. It really does. So, and you're not sleeping so much, but you've got a newborn
Mhm.
and you're on edge because you're not really sure what's happening. There's a lot of unknowns in your in front of you. And so it's I mean, again, not for the faint of heart. And everybody's story is different, I think,
Yeah.
and what your requirements are different. I think that I'm a little bit more of a maximalist. So probably, one of my other friends would have literally brought nothing and just figured it all out. But yeah, it helped me survive doing it the way I did. But I could have left a lot of things at home. I mean, when you look back on it, you're like, I probably didn't need 100 outfits. I mean, I'm being dramatic, but I could have left half the bottles at home. There are different things that you realize, okay, but it all worked out in the end. So,
It's funny that you just said that because I literally had opened my mouth to say, is there anything that you felt you could have left at home? Like I literally, at the exact moment that you said that is when I opened my mouth to ask.
and I honestly, I can't really remember all that I took at this point.
Mhm.
So, like, you know, especially because Bella Grace's adoption was a little bit more traumatic for us. We literally, I told you that our truck broke down. Another thing crazy happened on that trip. We were leaving the hospital, and I'm a big birth mother supporter, right? Like, I mean, this is such a sacrifice, and we've um typically you're not in the room when the birth mom is giving up their rights, but in our situation, it was necessary because there was a language barrier and my husband is bilingual. Anyways, there's a lot of details I probably shouldn't share, but basically, we were present, both of us, for that. And that in itself, I had already experienced that because I was a birth mom advocate at one time. So I already knew what that was like, but we experienced that. And what I had learned is that really for a birth mom, it's really important that she's typically hospitals will release her first and then they
Hmm.
release the family. Well, this hospital was adamant that it wasn't that way. She watched us leave. And that was really traumatic for her. It was traumatic for us. And we were just a mess. And in that, you're not in a place you know. And the way
Hmm.
the hospital was right there, and you came off to a highway. My husband turns left instead of right. So he's turns into ongoing traffic
Oh my goodness.
with our new baby, our 2-year-old, and then my parents following us. So my father followed him. And I just, I mean, again, I can't believe we made it, but we made it. And I mean, it
Oh.
wasn't ongoing traffic into a little street, it was a very fast highway. So here we are.
Oh my word. I mean, I was trying to allude to some of that on our last episode that we did about adoption. I didn't go into all of it, but I was saying that there's a lot of trauma involved in adoption. And and I was saying, some people, they don't take that into consideration when you first start out. I feel like you're so focused on the home study and making it through
Mhm.
all this paperwork. That feels like the hardest thing that you're going to have to do. And you
Mhm.
don't realize that the
Yeah.
hardest thing that you're going to have to do comes way later, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
There's not a lot of people that openly talk about it, and probably, like you said, because it's personal and it's painful. But I'm glad you mentioned it because I definitely still have trauma from Mateo's adoption for similar things that you were not prepared to experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think part of that is like we need to talk about it more because we need to educate people so even like hospitals know how to handle those situations or just people in general. Like and I know that in every city like people just all people are different
Mhm.
and they have different perspectives and you never know what maybe that nurse has personally experienced in her life that she might be for or against adoption.
Yeah.
But with both experiences there came some difficulties, but like I've heard these stories where the adoptive families are so loved and cared for by a hospital or a nurse. We did not experience those at all. I don't think you did either, Stephanie,
No.
right?
No, we were
Um,
treated like we were kidnapping him almost. It
yes,
was very
absolutely. It
strange.
was it was so odd. And Mateus was a little bit better because he was in a was your Mateo in that like room that was separate, like it was almost like a nursery.
Yes.
Um, so it helped a little bit, and I think we only had, like, one good positive experience with one nurse there, but, man, at the other hospital, it was awful. I was That's why they literally had to fly somebody in. I was being treated it was awful.
Yeah.
They didn't even want me in the hospital, to be honest,
Yeah.
even though the birth mom was saying she wanted me there. It was just such a I was I come from a background of social work and counseling, so, like, I had a good, strong perspective, and then also having the birth mom advocacy on my background, but
Yeah.
man, poof.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a nurse who did not want me at the hospital at all, and she made a very big stink. So I didn't get to see Mateo until he was 2 days old, and it was because of that one single nurse, because she was making it so hard for them to let me in. And so like I said, I don't know. I don't know how you would even prepare for that, and I don't want to make people scared, you know? I don't want to
Well,
scare people away, but But you need to be mentally prepared that not everybody, like you said, is pro-adoption. There are some people that are completely against it, and they are going to try to make it miserable for you.
Right. Right.
That's
Well, and there are people that have amazing experiences. So, our experiences might be totally polar opposite than other
yeah.
people's. But and I do really think because of the timing of both of our adoptions, that was a huge part of the rules were different. Like my husband didn't get to go in. Well, you said Derek did. You guys took turns, right?
Yeah, we took turns.
Well, Noel was, I mean, you guys were already parents, and Noel was scared to death. He was like, I'm not going to go in there without you. Like, he was like, I cannot hold a baby. I need to know I'm doing everything right. He
Yeah.
needed that moral support, and only one of us could be there at a time. And
Mhm.
that was really difficult, because what you think is going to be the sweet, you know, um, but it's okay. We're here, and we have both of us have great, strong little Mateo boys.
Yes. Yes. Well, even, like, when you talked about the ICPC and, like and how chaotic it is, there is still I remember you telling me this. It feels very chaotic, but when you a year from now, when on his birthday and you think back to this, you're gonna look at it with a different view, and you're gonna remember those, like, sweet moments. That's gonna overshadow all of the chaotic, and it's really true, like, I think of those, like, you know, holding him in that on that couch, just
Mhm.
me, him, and Derek, and so that was, like, really good bonding time. I remember you telling me that too because you're not where you normally would be. You don't have the distractions of home. It's just you and the baby, and that's it.
Yep.
It's hard to
That
see it
is
at the time. It feels very overwhelming.
yes. Yes, yes. But yeah, that's a good reminder too. And I think, um, everything is in place. Like we always can do better, right? But everything is there to protect that baby. And so those rules and regulations are there to protect those children. And I
Mhm.
think it's important, to have that. But that's where I go back to, hey, we need to educate other people so that they
Mhm.
understand and know. And we all just need to be kind. But
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you also telling me, you're like, "Don't take it personally. They're just trying to do their job." Even some of them that are being hateful are trying to do their
Mhm.
job, and if you get, like, nasty with them, that's gonna make it worse for you. So, even the doctor that she didn't wanna, like, give me information, I remember she kept saying, "Well, you're technically not the parent. Well, you're technically not the parent," and she did not wanna give me, like, any medical info on him.
Right.
But I just tried to be super nice to her, super not like, overly nice. I remember I even went out, and I think you told me that you did this, and bought the nurses, like, all kinds of, like, cookies,
Yep.
different
Yep. I
things,
did.
and so
We're
I
n
did that, and after.
we are not above bribery here at Chaos and Carry-On.
So I went out and bought, like, this huge platter and brought it to them, and I remember this one nurse, she did not like me. She loved me after that. I was her favorite person. So, there's something to be said about
So
bribery.
maybe she maybe was just hangry.
That's true. Well, I would have, if I was birthing a child, I would have done something similar. And so I felt like I'm going to do this, and I do think it did make a difference in how I was treated. I don't actually think I did it when we adopted Bella Grace. It was different circumstances, but I did with and that time probably it was a big deal to them because
Yeah.
yeah, I was just so closed down and shut down, but I think it is such it's good that you're bringing back the things that I said because I don't remember any of it. It's all like such a blur. I remember it as you say it. I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm sure that I got all of that wisdom from my friend who was in the adoption world. She's adopted 3 kids, and you know, she really helped me through all of that. Like she was such a great support system. And I think that that is what I would say is the most important thing to take with you, to have with you is
Mhm.
a support system and figuring out what that is. Like for my husband and I, a huge part of that is our faith and our relationship with Jesus Christ. We wouldn't have survived without that. Like our family, and then our like inner circle of friends that we could reach out to. And like I said, having my friend's name was Leah. and being able to have Leah. And I hope I could have been that for you. And I think that was why I was excited when they reached out to me and said, would I talk to you? And you weren't the only person I talked to. Remember, there was another
Oh, yeah.
Stephanie, actually, and she had a Mateo too.
Oh, that's hilarious. I forgot that yours was named Mateo.
I always wonder about her because you and I have stayed in touch, but the kind of the same thing. Like, what do I do? What do I, but it was nice to kind of pay it forward in that way because I had Leah and she helped me so much.
Yeah. I think it's also important to say that we've stayed in touch just because of we're on a journey. I mean, it's even parenting is the same way, but it's a little different when you adopt. And so, you want to stay close to somebody that's going through the same things as the same time as that you're going through them. And even when you find that person, your stories, like even them being born, how long you're matched, none of that is exactly the same. So when you're looking for that person that is just like you, I don't think there's any adoption that's just alike.
Nope.
But just having somebody that's on the adoption journey that can kind of relate to you, it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, Nikki, before we wrap up, it's time for our lightning round. Are you ready?
Okay, yes.
So these are quick answers, first thing that comes to mind type thing. Mickey pretzel or churro?
Mickey pretzel.
Window seat or aisle seat?
I'll see.
Favorite travel must-have in your carry-on?
Gosh. Snacks.
If you could only visit one Disney park forever, which one are you choosing?
Magic Kingdom.
What is your dream travel destination for your family next year?
That's supposed to be a quick answer.
No, sorry.
I would just say anywhere internationally.
Good job.
I say that because as soon as my husband gets his citizenship and his passport, I just want us to be able, whether it be a Disney cruise or anything, just the freedom to be able to go somewhere would be a blessing.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today and sharing your story. I wanted the Adoption Awareness Month to, like you said, educate people, but also this is a travel podcast. So I really wanted to show people, if you're coming to this podcast because you're going to be traveling, what it's like to literally pack your bags and go somewhere that you've never been and show them that if we survived it, you can too. You survived a hurricane and COVID, and I was an ice storm and COVID. I mean, surely it can't be any more
She
chaotic than
drove
that.
into oncoming traffic too. Let's put that in there.
I mean, right. And like she said, it all worked out in the end. So
Yes,
if we can do it, you can do it.
You are officially part of the Chaos and Carry-Ons family now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for today's episode. If you loved hanging out with us, or if you have your own chaotic travel story, send us a message on Instagram.
It's at Chaos and Carry-Ons. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your favorite travel buddy or somebody that might want to hear the adoption chaos.
Thanks again to Nikki for joining us, and all of our listeners. Remember, life's a little chaotic, so pack light and laugh often.
We'll see you next time. Bye.